Hello everyone, I'm Mike Levin, SEO and Daddy and dog walker of Cecil here in Inwood, New York City. And today is my Code with Mike Friday, yay! I look forward to this sort of all day. No, not all day, I look forward to this all week. And today I get to finish out the last nonsense obstacle to making Pipulate useful in everyday situations. I'm learning that as people discover my old tool, they like using it. They use it on an increasingly daily basis. And I can only imagine how much the more so when I am able to crank out functions in response to their requests quickly, and when anything I do for them could be set on automated scheduling to reveal trending. So I publish a YouTube video, for example, much like this. How many views did it get? How many views on page 1? How many views on page 2? This is, of course, revealed in YouTube Analytics. You can go in and see how well things are doing and get some of these statistics. But how do you get it out of YouTube Analytics? You take a screen snapshot, you put it in a report for someone, but what about sort of owning the data for yourself and calling it to your own attention? You're going to be lifting it out of YouTube Analytics anyway at some point, either to create a screen snapshot or to put it into a spreadsheet so that you can track it on your own and report to the client, keep records for your own sake, because it's a pain going through a series of screenshots as your method of showing how well you did. No one can like turn a series of screenshots into a nice animation so easily that it's insightful, easy to archive and keep around, but it's much easier to just drop a number into a spreadsheet. So if you're going to drop a number into a spreadsheet anyway, repeatedly, adding a row each time you do it with a new date stamp, why not automate it? Why not just make it so that every time you open that spreadsheet, new rows have been added for the number of views that video had at that point in time? So it's not how many new views, it's how many total views. But you can calculate anything you need by just occasionally going in and taking a snapshot of how many views a video had. So you're starting to get the picture. Say I had a portfolio of 20 popular videos of mine, and I just want to generally expose very easily for bookkeeping purposes in a spreadsheet and for impressing client purposes by producing charts and graphs out of the data. You simply open that spreadsheet at any point. You can either send that raw spreadsheet to the client, or you can do some calculations based on the most recent entries, because it's sets of, say, 20 rows over and over. So on week 1, you'd have 20 rows from the original setup. Week 2, you'd have 40 rows. Week 3, you'd have 60, then 80, then 100, and so on. So you can, at some point, also do great trending graphs. If the data is in a web database of any sort, you can write applications against it that use things like the great DS.js I discovered yesterday that I believe the New York Times is using for doing all these great like rent versus buy mortgage calculators to see when it's worth renting and when it's worth buying. That has really cool graphics. And so I'll be incorporating that into the work, as well as Pipulate takes on more and more of a fancy user interface that I had been very hesitant to do to the old version of this kind of product, because user interface work is chasing a rabbit down a rabbit hole. It's so much more than anyone expects. But at any rate, user interface work will be in the future, along with doing all the feature requests that they ask for, adding trending and scheduling, so that this Pipulate product should be useful to pretty much anyone who needs to track anything that's anywhere on the web. and it should become one of those mainstream category killer type products like WordPress and blogging. And at least that's what I'm going for, so that there can be whole communities of people building things on top of it, providing customizations, because part of my whole message here is that Python's easy to program, and all you need is a way to get indoctrinated, initiated, whatever the word you want to use for writing little Python functions that work as standalones, and then you realize how little my framework is actually doing for you. And before you know it, you've learned programming, you've learned the Python, awesome Python programming language in particular. It's a very counterintuitive message to all the things going on the web these days, with focusing on JavaScript, and that's pretty much all, because there's Node on the server now. It's a different message about marketing in today's world and computer literacy in tomorrow's world, and that's kind of my overall story arc, plot plan here on all these videos I'm producing. I'll sprinkle some robots in and things I'm doing in my personal life with Addie and travel and educating her. But that's this channel, youtube.com/Miklevin, M-I-K-L-E-V-I-N. That'll auto forward you to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.